This video is going to go over how to slice a file using PreForm software for the Form 3 SLA resin printer. This software also works for our Fuse 1 plus 30 watt printer, which is an SLS printer, but we'll do that in a different video. So if you don't already have any familiarity with PreForm, you can go to the search bar and type PreForm in here. If you don't see it here, you can go to Company Portal and download it. It is a free download as well if you ever want to download it for your own home use. Once you get it downloaded or you get it opened up, you may have to create an account or get logged in, use your school email address to do so. Once you get through the tutorial, which you can skip through, it should bring you into a window like this. And once you're into PreForm here, you should see that it looks like a pretty fairly standard slicer. The view controls are pretty much all the same. I'm holding my right mouse button and moving the mouse around, and that gives me rotate. If I use the wheel of the mouse, I can zoom in and out. And if I click down and hold, I can pan with the wheel of the mouse as well. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to connect this to a printer that we're going to click send a print to. So if I click over here where it says no printer selected, that should open up this window, and you can choose just some generic build plates to set up for a printer. The Form 4 is their newest printer, and that one is the one that they have for default. But instead of doing that, we want to actually be able to send to a printer. So we're going to click on this Add Printer button over here, and you can see when it does that, it gives you this window where you can add in an IP address. So we're going to go over to our printer now and get that IP address to type in here. Here we have our Form 3 3D printer. When you're using PreForm and you are ready to connect to send a print to this printer, it is important that you make sure that you are aware of what type of resin and if you have enough. And you can see right now I don't currently have a build platform in here. And I can see that up here as well where there's simply not one attached. But anyway, make sure that you know what the status of the printer is itself. And as far as connecting to the printer goes, we can go down here to settings, and here listed on connectivity, that is the number that we'll type into the PreForm software. After you add in the IP address, it should show up. Every printer from Formlabs comes with its own, most of the time, strange name. And you'll see this one's no different. As long as you are happy with what you see there, you can go ahead and hit apply. And that should then bring you back into your build space, and you should be able to see that it updates right here. That's working just a little bit slow for me at the moment. All right, and now I can see that it's connected, and I can see that my material here isn't showing up right for my job settings. So I will have to adjust that, and I should be able to just click here and change what material it is. And right now I'm on Durable V2. I believe that is under the Engineering tab. And right here is the Durable. And I'm going to leave the layer thickness at its default. So now all of our settings are ready to go. We should be able to then come over here and add our STL file. And I just went up to File, Open, and I'm going to go and find my STL file that I exported. And you can see that's going to drop that in here. Now, you can do all the normal things in PreForm that you would do in any other slicer, but you can also use this one-click button right here, where it will pretty much do everything that needs to be done to make your print successful. And you can see that it oriented my object, and it also put support material in it. So the SLA printer is a little different from the other printers. And you can see that my object here, even though it is a flat object, you can see that it's not flat on the build plate. And that there's a couple of reasons for that. One, the way the SLA printers work, if you print a flat surface on a flat build plate, you have a couple of issues that could show up. One of them being that it adheres really well and you often will damage your print. In addition to that, because of how SLA process works, there's a laser that is hardening the resin and it is going through a plastic film to get there. And that film is in the bottom of your resin tank. And that laser will degrade that film over time. So Form Labs recommends that you have an object oriented in a way that every layer is not going to be being exposed to the laser at the same spot. That's a long way of saying your objects should be angled in some way. It gives you better results. It also makes your tanks last longer. And basically, the way I've looked into it, the way you want to orient your print is to have it so that you have the least amount of cross-sectional area in every one of your layers. If you want to do anything different with it, you can still manipulate it beyond that. You can see there's an orient button where I can click that and I can move this stuff around. I'm going to leave it right where it is for now. We can do the same thing with supports. We can add manual supports. We can do automatic. But that is pretty much all there is to it. I'm going to move this more into the center. But unlike the other printers, like I said, you want to make sure that as you use this printer, that we're moving the prints around to different parts of the build plate. Once you're happy with that, you can go ahead and click Upload to Queue. And as soon as this is done slicing and uploading, you will be able to go over to the printer, select it from the screen, make sure that you have a build plate and resin loaded up like you need, and you can start your print.